Most coaches with 100k followers or even more than that are still stuck at 30k per month to 50k per month, or even less than that sometimes. Bashi had the offer, he had the audience, he even had the demand, but every month still looked the same. Not a clearly defined ICP, inconsistent bookings, an untrained setter speaking with leads, no follow-up system, no tracking, Bashi himself taking sales calls, and zero visibility into what was actually breaking. In 16 weeks, we took him from 30k per month to over $80,000 per month consistently, without changing any of his content strategy, without running any sort of paid ads, and without him being a part of the daily sales and operations side of things. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what we built step by step, the offer refinement, the backend system and infrastructure, the team, and the management aspect of it as well. And if you're a coach doing anywhere between $20,000 to over $200,000 a month, pay close attention, because this video is probably going to be the most important video that you're going to watch this year. Quick background on me. My name is Aman Satija. I'm the founder and CEO of Elite Sales Systems, and I've personally generated over $10 million for our fractional clients. I know this game from inside: the systems, the backend, the scripts, the psychology, the KPIs, the team hiring and management, the delivery side of things, all of it. Today I run the Elite Sales Systems, where I build, install, and manage the entire sales and operations department for coaches, consultants, and info agencies. We have helped multiple clients 2x, 3x, 4x their revenue, including one that went from $200,000 to over $650,000 per month by just building one thing: a predictable, self-running sales machine. Not just scripts, not just a hire, a full system. And that's exactly what we built for Bashi. So here's the breakdown. So me and Bashi, we had a call in the last week of April, and we decided to kick things off in the first week of May. So we started at 1st May 2025, so approximately 7-8 months before today. I think 10 months before today. And he has a coding coaching offer. He's a coding coach, as you can see on his Instagram profile. 265k software engineer founder, helping engineers land a 100k job in this tough market. So pretty famous niche, and has a good Instagram following as well, all organic without any paid ads so far. His coaching offer had a price point of $5,000. He was generating around 100 leads a day, all organically, as I said, without any paid ads. Was handling the DMs and taking calls himself. I think he had one setter, but he was like more of a VA who he hired from Upwork, $5 VA, and it was not working out for him, and he was taking all the closing calls himself. The booking rate was less than 2%. The closing rate on the calls was less than 25%, even though Bashi had the most knowledge about his own offer. And 30 to 40 hours spent a week handling sales. No frameworks or systems to take leads from top of funnel to the bottom of funnel. No time for Bashi for high leverage activities, the most important thing. And monthly revenue, he was stuck at $30,000, and he had just actually hit $30,000 in the month of April and March. Before that, he was doing $10,000 per month with this big of an account. So this is a whole breakdown of what I'm going to show you. So it can take a bit of a while. So just sit back, relax, grab a drink or snack if you want to, and we'll just dive deep into it. So firstly, I'm going to go day by day of how we started. So this was like day one, literally. We had a discovery and foundation. Now this discovery and foundation is partly about the business, and is partly about me, for me to understand exactly how we started working together, how you found out about me, why you decided to work with me, so that I can actually work on my offer as well, and actually make those decisions that are going to help my clients succeed even more in the long term. So first thing first, day one, I sent him an onboarding form and call. We had an onboarding call. So understanding the first touch point of knowing me, like I said, how exactly he got to know me. For him, it was simple, because he was a referral from one of my other current clients, whose name is InstaCoach Mike. I've helped him grow from $200,000 to over $650,000 per month, as I mentioned in the video before. So Bashi was a client of Mike, and Mike was helping Bashi with all the marketing side of things, helping him grow his account organically. However, this is what he needed help with to actually grow his sales as well and get out of the sales. So understanding the first touch point of knowing me, understanding what actually made him go from cold to warm, and ultimately deciding to working with me as much as depth as possible, so I can understand how and why exactly clients to choose work with me. And then understanding what could have improved to make him pull the trigger earlier, understanding what was the biggest hesitation for him before deciding to work with me, and finally hopping on a one-to-one call with him to move on to the next stage. So all of this is done just so I can understand where the client is coming from, what exactly were his or her expectations before actually starting to work with me, what actually made them pull the trigger, believing that I can actually help them solve their problems. Was it testimonial? Was it a piece of content? Was it our call? What was it? I need to understand that, because I'm going to implement the same structure to your business as well, because that's how we'll grow. That's how you'll always know what kind of content to make for your business, what kind of ads to run for your business, what kind of how the calls should lead for your business. So all that information is really necessary. After that, this was on day one, and another thing on day one was same call. We dive deep into the ICP and offer analysis. So firstly, understanding current leads acquisition funnel. So everyone has various kinds of acquisition funnel. It can be, for some it can be long form content, for some it can be short form, for some it can be ads, for some it can be a mix of everything, like everything jumbled up, and for some working well, so for some not so working well. For Bashi, it was just Instagram, and it was, like I said, 100 leads or something a day organically. However, there were some things not really fixated about the ICP, because he was attracting lots of unqualified leads from third world countries. So we had to fix that about the offer first. So understanding current lead acquisition funnel, breaking down the book rate for setters from lead to both call booked and qualified call booked. So actually breaking down the book rate, for example, if Bashi is getting 100 leads in a day and the setter is booking 4 calls in total, or for his example, 2 calls in total, so their book rate is 2%. But if out of that 2, only 1 is qualified and 1 turns out to be NQ lead, that's a 1% qualified booking rate. So understanding that setter's booking rate, understanding important metrics like what's the show rate, what's the offer rate, what's the close rate, what's the average order value, entire backend audit like CRM and DM tool analysis, like do they have any CRM installed, GHL, close, whatever, do they have any DM tool, ManyChat, Mochi, etc. What has been the last 6 months revenue analysis been like? So have you had consistent months? Have you had like up and downs in the months? Have you just recently spiked up? Like for the case of Bashi, he recently had 30k months. Before that, he was doing like 10k per month. Understanding his clients before and after state, are the clients actually achieving results? Because again, it's very important for us to work with business owners who actually are making the change, rather than just offering some kind of products which don't make a difference in their client's life. So needing to understand, it's one of my very important needs to understand if he's actually helping clients. And he had amazing testimonials. Like he had not 1, not 10, like 20, 30, 40 testimonials of students or professionals actually thanking him because he helped them land 100k roles. So client results, as I said, audit of AI tools usage, if any. So it was using any AI tools at that point. He was not using, except for generating copy from Claude and everything. But I actually need to understand if there are any high leverage tools that can be implemented into his backend as well. And then competitive research and analysis to just understand what the competition is doing, how many competitors he has, if he has any knowledge of that. If not, we're going to help him with that. So all of that done on day one. And the phase 2 starts at infrastructure build. So it's day 2, just understanding the offer optimization, the pricing, the delivery. So firstly, making the offer fit as per the ICP. As we discussed, is it actually fitting the ideal customer profile, or is it not? Are we attracting lots of NQ countries, or are we actually attracting all the qualified countries? Do we need to make any changes to the demographics? Do we need to make any changes to the actual offer in terms of the pricing? So pricing analysis to make sure we don't under or over deliver. Do we actually have tier pricing, like done with you, do it yourself, done for you, or do we have just one offer for everything? Delivery style, done with you, done for you, do it yourself, depending on what the goals are and what will help us scale efficiently. So it's not actually necessary for everyone to have 3 tier offers. For example, Bashi only had 2 tier offer. He actually had only one, which was just one coaching offer. We helped him introduce a lower ticket program as well, through which we take the people who didn't have that much money, we take them to lower program, achieve the results with them, and then got them to the higher ticket program. But for some people, for some of my clients, we do have like 3 tier, even 4 tiers. But it all depends on how we not want to make the business a lot of complex, how we don't want to just launch lots of offers just for the sake of launching. But every piece of content, every single hire, every single team member in the sales team, in the infrastructure, in the operations, every single thing about the offer should make sense. There should be a reason why we're doing it, not just because we're doing it because we feel like or we see every other person doing it. So firstly, and then day 2 or day 3, understanding the offer optimization, pricing and delivery. And Day 3 to day 5, this is where the real magic starts to begin. Everything starts to prepare: sales, assets creation, and backend. So implementation of elite inbound and outbound DM settings to get personalized for the offer. So having actually the personalized scripts. I'm not relying on chat GPT for the script for appointment setters, because if you're using AI way too much in your business, and you're relying 100% on AI, then there is no way you should call yourself an info business, because you are at this point removing the human aspect. You're removing the human touch of things. You need to have a personalized script, not made by AI. Maybe AI will reach that place someday. I'm pretty sure it's going to do it, seeing the matter of things right now. But as of now, you need to have a personalized script. So implementation of elite inbound and outbound DM script. Mind you, this script I have generated more than 10 million for all of my clients altogether. So this is A to Z script, starting from good introduction, going to a solid rapport building, not too short, not too long, and then diving deep into the pitch, diving deep into objection handling, and then going into making them show up with a 70% show up rate. Everything is covered in this script. Installation of elite framework. So 70% show up rate framework. How are we going to make sure that our leads are showing up with 70%, even 80% show up rate? And not actually just show up rate, but actually the made call rate, even after like cancellations and NQs, everything, it should be still at 70 to 80%. Customized follow-up sequence. Are your followers just sending, hey, bumping this up? Or do they actually have a follow-up sequence to follow, which is actually making sense for the offer, which is actually coming from the tone of voice of the offer owner as well? Because you need to understand that if the owner doesn't speak that way, but the setters are doing the follow-ups in such a way, it's gonna come off as robotic. It's gonna come off as AI. No one's gonna believe that it's actually Bashi who's sending the messages. So customized follow-up sequence, objection handling SOP. This is like pure gold. It has objection handling for 25-30 objections. Again, this is not a script. I never ever tell the sellers or the sales teams to learn how to actually go about handling an objection, but I want them to understand the framework. So this actually tells them the framework, like going from pricing, going from, oh, it's so expensive, going from, I need to speak to my partner, going from, I don't have the time for this right now, going from, I don't have the money for this right now. So everything covered in this objection handling SOP. And then leads grading SOP. The sellers and the sales reps should also know how to grade leads. Is it an A quality lead or is it a B quality lead that I'm booking? For the closers, if they have two leads at the same time, like they're double booked, so the closers need to see, should I take a call with lead A or lead B? Which lead is actually good? So having that clear bifurcation of grading of leads will help the closers and the sellers to understand what kind of leads to put on the calendar and what kind of leads to prioritize and what kind of leads to not prioritize. Installation of trackers to track all the KPIs and daily numbers. Very important, because if you're not actually tracking what the sellers are doing, what the sales reps are doing, how is everything looking, if you're only doing like monthly performance reviews and that's it, you're not actually touching base on anything, or even weekly, it's not gonna move the needle for you, because you need to make sure that there is a consistent back and forth with the sellers and the sales reps and everyone on the team, and they're actually being held accountable for their performance each and every single day. And it's not to put a gun on their head, but it's more likely to make them realize that we actually care about this offer. And as a business owner, that's not your job, because if you do this, you know you won't be able to actually grow the business. So that's why having those trackers to track all the KPIs and daily numbers was really important for Bashi. Dialing in the backend, really important. So CRM, do they have a CRM or they don't? If they don't have, we have to install one. If they have one, optimizing it. GHL Close, whatever, HubSpot, whatever you have, preferably it should be GHL or Close, because those are the most best ones to use. Do you have ManyChat, or do you have any other DM tool, or just you have starters on your Instagram? Worst case scenario, Zap, Slack, Calendly, everything being integrated into one, because you need to make sure that the data is always in front of you in the most readable, most easiest form as possible, that a 10-year-old kid can read it and be like, okay, this is the lever that I need to pull in, or this is the lever that I need to push to make sure that we take the sales up, take the sales down, whatever the goal is for the company right now. And lastly, AI integration with DM tools. Do you actually have AI? Because again, see, I use AI in lots of parts of my business. I'm not saying AI is bad, but you have to make sure that AI is being used by humans, not the other way around. So if AI is leading humans, that's where things will start to fall. and you will be like, no, it's not working out for me. So AI integration is really important. So are you using any DM tools? For example, there are lots of tools like Mochi, or there are other tools as well for DM integration, which will actually help you automate the follow-up processes if you know how to correctly build that, or how to actually automate all the reminders for the leads for to show up on the call. So all of those AI integrations, and this is what like Setta's onboarding look like. It's kind of like just showing you checklist of the stuff needed to get started. So it's very in depth. I can't go each document in depth because it's going to make this video way too lengthy. But learning more about the offer, and by the way, this is the same for the sales reps as well as the sellers. So learning more about the offer, DM sellers SOP, and how they're actually supposed to perform, ideal customer profile, double booking, access to Slack channel, like ask someone to send access to ManyChat, how to find leads on ManyChat, like proper loom on it, not leaving the sales reps at any point and being like, figure out yourself. You do that and your business is gonna suck, like completely. I'm not gonna be shy about this. So Xmind script, like just a DM script, selfies for follow-ups, DM frameworks like DM responses, like objection handling that I just told you, follow-up framework, 70% show up rate framework, how to identify good leads on ManyChat, data tracking sheet, call recordings I need to go through. So literally A to Z. Like the minute sellers are hired, like within 24 hours, they should be able to go through all of this, and they should be like 100% 10 on 10 informed about what the offer is, who we are serving, who the ICP is, what the goal is, and what my roles and responsibilities are. If they don't know this, they're going to suck from day one. If they know this, they're going to be the elite performers, and that's the difference. Because I'm not a huge fan of hiring experienced sales reps. Like, I'm not saying that experienced sales reps are bad. I do hire some of them, but it's not usually that experienced one are the best ones. It's usually the ones who have the most amount of hunger and who are actually ready to learn. Because someone who's ready to go through all of this with all due diligence, with 10 on 10 attention to detail, I mean, there's no reason they're not going to succeed personally as well as the company. So this is how we go through the second one. Now, third phase is team building. Now this happens in day 5 to 8 and sometimes day 5 to 10. So it takes from like roughly 3 to 5 days. Now what happens in day 5th, we start hiring teams. So we first plan on talent hiring in accordance with traffic generated. Because here's the thing, what I've seen is that sometimes I go into offer, they have 500 leads generated each day, either by paid ads or organic, and they don't even have 1 or 2 sellers to handle that. They have less human resource. Sometimes I'll see they have 100 leads and they have 5 sellers or 4 sales reps taking calls. So that's why it's really important to plan on how much talent do we need to hire in accordance with the traffic generated. For example, with Bashi, we figured that right now we're generating around 100 leads a day. Some of them are also not qualified because the ICP is not dialed in for the content. So once we dial in the ICP for the content, once we make sure the story sequences are out very regularly, and maybe in the future we'll start paid ads, not for now, everything is good. So we need to make sure that we have the right amount of talent, not less, not more. So we decided we're going to hire 2 appointment setters and 1 closer. So first round of hiring lead setters and closers from a selective pool of stars sales reps. So usually people go for Upwork, LinkedIn. I'm personally not a big fan of it because as I said, I'm not a very big fan of hiring those so-called professionals. I have got some good people from LinkedIn, but what I usually rely on is my own pool of star appointment setters, star closers. I already have a pool. I've been in this industry for more than 4 or 5 years, so and I have lots of contacts. However, if even for me, I'll be very honest, the last 1.5 years, it has been difficult to find good sales because there's just not enough in the market. It's good that we have our own pool, and if that doesn't work, then being in contact with actually good agencies that can provide you with good reps. So I have those contacts as well. So just first round of hiring lead setters and closers from a selective pool of star appointment setters, star closers. Final round of interviewing setters and closers with the owner and or with us. So it depends on the owner. For example, Bashi decided to hop on a call with the closers. I managed everything about the setters, took their final interview as well, and then sending contract to final candidates and moving on to the onboarding process. This took us a total of 3 days. All of this, starting from planning on what we need to hire, how many we need to hire, and how we'll go about it, to sending the contract. 3 days in total. Next 2 days, really fun. Moving on to onboarding and training team. So day 8 to 10. sending the onboarding sequence to the setters and to help them understand the ICP about the offer, setting frameworks, everything. So like I showed you, setters onboarding script, and to the closer as well, which was taken care of by Bashi. We made the whole onboarding sequence for the closer as well, give it to him, and he was taking care of the just sending it to him. And because for Bashi, this was more of a educational offer. It's not a B2B marketing offer that everyone can take care of it. It's more like going into depth about what people can ask about coding, what people can ask about like HTML or SQL or Python, all of that stuff. So that's why it was important for Bashi to take care of the closer. So he started he gave the onboarding sequence to the closer, he onboarded the closer, we onboarded the sellers, then onboarding Q&A call with the sellers to answer all their questions. So what we do is we send them the onboarding document, give them 24 hours, and we're like, okay, after 24 hours you must have gone through all of this. We'll hop on a one-to-one call, we'll do a Q&A. Once you're all ready, we'll deploy you in the DMs, and then set is ready to start and crush it in the DMs within 24 hours max. So day 8 we started this, day 9 we had the call, and after the call they were ready to get started. Maybe it took day 10, but usually it's like next day and they're ready to kill. And once they're on the DMs, starting with not big number of leads, but actually just starting with a low number of leads, sometimes even low quality of leads, letting them prove themselves that they're actually hungry, they're willing to go to the next level. And once they show that they're actually booking good amount of calls, taking them to the next level. So this is phase 3 done. Now we started on May 1. This was May 9 or May 10 for Bashi. So just 10 days in, first milestone. May cash collected 53K per month. Revenue 63K per month because some payments were not paid in full. Mind you, before this, Bashi was doing around $31,000 per month, and that we just hit like in the month of April and March. Before that, he was doing $10,000 per month. Now he had 3 to 5 qualified appointments booked per day by Sarah's team. Closer was closing at 40% close rate, 2x increase in revenue, more than 2x in 30 days, and actually 20 days because the first 10 days was just building the infrastructure. 30 to 40 hours saved every week for Bashi, and this was the best thing. It's not the money, this is the best thing, because now he had the time to focus on content, focus on creating content for his ICP, focusing on networking, all of those high leverage activities. And as I said, more time for Bashi to focus on high leverage activities. So this jump was not actually something that happened by itself. It was all calculated, it was all predictable, and it happened because of rock solid foundations and an elite team of closers and sellers. So this is some screenshots of how the strike was looking. As you can see, this is in the month of May. $53,000 in cash collected, 63 in gross volume, and this was his message to me. So I told him strong end to month, Bashi, and he said highest month so far on June 1st, and it was like just the beginning, man, because it was literally just the beginning, because this was 20 days. Were we expecting a growth like this in 20 days? Of course we were, because I told him, dude, we're going to crush it by the end of May itself. And he came to me with an expectation of just removing him from the sales side of things, from the operation side of things, and just managing this 40K per month or 30K per month. He never expected that in the first month itself, he'll be completely out of the sales, completely out of the operations, and actually seeing the business scale even further to $53,000. This was just a beginning, mind you. Now, after this, phase 4, daily management and performance optimization. This is where the things start to like heat up. So daily management, daily huddles with the setters team to discuss last day's win, overall numbers, and projections for present day. So from the 10th, 11th day itself, when the setters started working, everyday huddles, not long meetings. I'm not a big fan of running long meetings. So 10-15 minutes huddles where we start with like, what were my weeks from the wins from the last day, last week? What are my projections for today? Do you have a question? Do you have any questions? Do you have any answers? Anything? And we just go about it, and that's it. We go about our day. Focusing on achieving 10% booking rate through weekly DM and phone setting trainings. So every week, sometimes 2 times in a week in the beginning for new setters, training for them for the DM and phone settings so that they can actually increase the book rate from that 1% to over 10%, because that's what we needed. And we actually achieved it by the month of I think August or July. Reviewing chats and call recordings to provide feedback and growth. So every day in those daily huddles when they were coming, even if they had any questions or even if they're not, each setter was supposed to bring one conversation each day. Could be phone conversation, could be a DM conversation, that we're going to review all together. We're going to see how we can help him become a better setter, help him or her. And we did this in the beginning for all the setters. Once they are good at their craft, that starts to be more like a weekly kind of thing, or like 2 times in a week kind of thing, because obviously we don't want to waste a lot of time if they're good at their performance. So doing this Performance optimization. KPI tracker for the entire Setters team to manage daily, weekly, and monthly performance. As I told you, if the accountability is not being happen on a daily basis, then your team is going to struggle always. They're not going to be informed on what the company's goals are. They're not going to be informed on if the offer really matters to you or not. Because if someone doesn't have the time to check in with their team once a day, then the team is going to feel lethargic. So, monthly one-to-one performance review with the sellers and the sales reps, appreciating the positives and providing constructive feedback on negatives. So, this is really important because we are meeting on daily huddles. We are doing bi-weekly check-ins, which I'll come to later. We're doing bi-weekly check-ins with the sellers and the sales reps, then a monthly performance review as well, because we need to tell them, like, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, first understanding from them, how was last month for them, how do they like the infrastructure of the company, do they think that they're on the right path career wise, is if there is one thing that they need help with, what would that be, and then giving my feedback on what I thought their performance was on a scale of 1 to 10. This actually gives them a whole picture of where they are, where we want them to be, and what they will get when they reach there. So this actually helps on just reinforcing their goals, reinforcing the mindset. Implementation of bonus structure to keep healthy competition and high performance standards in the team. So for example, we have this leaderboard right now we have 3 sellers. So 3 sellers, we have a leaderboard on how the sellers are doing, and whoever is at the top of the leaderboard by the end of the month, they get a good bonus of $500, $1,000, depending on like what the team is like, what the offer is like. So what does this do? Does this create any kind of toxic competition? No, it creates a very healthy competition. It creates that vibe among the team that, dude, this is a high performing team. We need to reach at high performing standards to actually grab that bonus every month. Weekly calls with Bashi to stay aligned on company's goals. I was having weekly calls with Bashi because I need to understand if actually everything is built around the same ICP, or if something is going on in his mind. He's thinking about doing this, about doing this. Of course, we don't really like when the offer is changing every other week, but we do have to understand that we are on the same page every week. I'm telling him like, hey, this is how the week is looking like. This is what we did in the last week. This is how much cash collected. This is how many calls from starting, how many leads came, how many conversations started, how many calls bugged, how many call links shared, how many calls showed up, how many calls were offered, how many calls were closed, what is the total number of cash collected, what's the total number of revenue, what are the projections for next week, what are we projecting this month, what's that one thing that we can do to take this to the next level. So all of this being talked about on our weekly one-to-one. And as you can see, like, this is the Sellers leaderboard, this is the Sellers PR performance review we're doing every month. And then what happened after that? As you can see, second milestone, August cash collected, $80,000 per month. Revenue, $90,000 per month. This was 76 and 86, and we had some payments, I think, on WAP. Yep, so $4,000 on WAP, so it's around 80,000 here, and 90,000 of gross volume. These achievements are not the biggest for us, I'll be honest, because we do tell everyone who we work with that you're going to see a good spike in your revenue. It's going to be built on rock solid foundations, not just like a spike and then going down. So you're going to see that, and you're going to happy about that, because whatever you're going to pay me to help you out, you're going to probably recover that in the first month itself, and whatever you see for the next few months, it's going to be just cherry on the top, and it's going to be hundreds and thousands of dollars. I'll share with you later how much we've helped Bashi so far with, but that's not the best thing. The best thing is that he is not taking care of anything about sales right now. He doesn't have to think how many leads are coming. He doesn't have to think what the sellers are doing. He doesn't have to think what the sales reps are doing, because of course he needs to think about it, but whenever he needs to know any of the information, I'm the sole point of contact. He doesn't need to ask 20 different people of how things are going, and that's the power of leverage. So 6 to 8 qualified appointments booked per day with a 10% booking rate. Again, leads never increased, we just increased the call booking rate. 2.4x increase in revenue in less than 16 weeks with no extra leads. All same leads, no ad spend, everything organically. Lean team of 2 appointment sellers and 1 closer. Predictable plan to scale to 100K per month, 200K per month, 500K. Because here's the thing, as I told you earlier, when you have a rock solid infrastructure, when you have a rock solid system, what do you have to do? You just have to pull the lever. You have to pull the lever like this, the sales will go up. You pull the lever like this, the sales will hold down. And that's how you actually make things work for yourself, because it's not going to work by themselves. You have to make sure that you're actually building that rock solid foundation to make things work for you. So this is how it looked like. This was like his, we had a chat. It was like, hey, $83,000, highest month, how it feels to be rich. and he's like feels great. Every end of the month it's a bit bittersweet because we're going to do it all over again, lol. And right after this, I had a call with him, and I was like, dude, you don't need to worry about that, because the owners who have to worry about that, the business who have to worry about that, are the ones who got it by mistake, who got it by luck, and they're like, dude, I don't know how I got it. But now that we have everything, we have a rock solid plan. Like, do we need to add more organic posts? We'll get more leads, more sales. Do we need to add more ad spend? With the great ROAS, we'll get more sales. Like, this is the power of systems. We're not just going there by luck. So now all of this done started at May 1. Today I'm recording this video around 15th, what's the date? 17th February. So May 1 till date, what has happened with Bashi? Cash collected so far, $500,000 plus, more than that. Revenue more than $600,000. Again, this is because some payments are not paid in full. Additional $350,000 generated in the last 10 months. So if you see this, before this, in the last 10 months, before me, he did $200,000 or something. He did $500,000 in cash collected. In revenue, we did $229, and after working with me in the last 10 months, we increased it more than $600,000. So additional $350,000 generated in less than 10 months. That's additional $35,000 generated every single month of working with us. Let that sink in. Additional $35,000. I'm not selling a marketing gimmick. I'm not telling you that this is the best funnel to do, or this is the best way to book 10 qualified appointments, or this is the best closer you can have. No, maybe that works, maybe that doesn't. I don't care. I don't know. What I know, what I preach is what I teach, and I don't even teach. I built it for him. I installed it for him. I manage it for him. Till date, I'm running it for him, and we have a pretty clear plan of how we're going to go to 200K, 500K, even 1 million per month. Of course, strategy is going to change along the way, but that's the power of a lean team. That's a power of systems. So lean team of 3 appointment setters till date today, and 1 closer, still 1 closer, that 1 closer. By the way, the churn rate, usually most of the owners are stuck with hiring someone, firing someone, hiring someone, firing someone. Do we struggle with that? Of course we struggle with that. These were not the 3 appointment setters that we hired in the very beginning. We had to go through it, but once they're stuck, these appointment setters have been here for the last 7 months. This closer has been here for the last 10 months since I joined. So the churn rate is so amazing. We're not feeling stuck, but like, why are people leaving us? Because the offer is so amazing, the leads is so amazing, the ICP is so dialed in that people are actually willing to work with us. Like, I'm getting applications each day. People who know I work with Bashi, they're like, dude, please get me on this role. I'm like, dude, get me on this offer. I'm like, dude, we don't have the opportunity scale right now, because we're waiting for some things, and then when we're ready to put more ad, maybe put some money into paid ads, or maybe start posting more, and we're ready to scale more because we have to make sure the delivery side of things are also being taken care of. We can't just scale maniacally and then think like, oh, why did we do that? So once we have that, I'll get you on this offer. But that shows that this is a rock solid sales system and backend, that it's a self-sufficient scaling business with Bashi having an eagle eye vision. That's the power. Every business owner should grow their business with an eagle eye vision, with seeing how the business is doing from the top, rather than being inside of business and then being like, dude, what the hell should I do? That's not how maybe you can grow to this like 10K, 20K, maybe 30, 40K, but beyond that, you can't go like this. You have to make sure that you're hiring the right people and have the right systems so that you can actually go about this. So this is what's done, and what's next for Bashi? Some of you might ask. First, as I said, pumping lead gen organically. That's one thing that we can do, of course, to scale more leads, to have more leads and scale more money. Starting paid ads. We have never done paid ads before. It's something we can do as an option to increase the leads, and then scaling to 150K to 200K per month with rock solid foundations. Because as I said, the thing that's stopping us right now from not scaling more than 80K or 100K months is not that we don't have the system, but it's more so on the delivery side of things, because this is a coding coaching program, and it's not like you can hire marketing managers and they will teach everything. We have to hire actually professionals who will teach the coding stuff, so that Bashi is not involved in delivery side of things like 100%, and he's every day just tied up with clients for 12 hours around the clock. So that's the only side of things where we are still making sure that we get the best coaches from around the world who are A to Z talented in their coaching and in the coding side of things. And once they are, that's our signal to scale to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. That's how we go about it. So what actually moved the needle? Let me give you 3 things. Number one, we fixed the system before we fixed the team. Bashi's problem wasn't that he had a bad sales team. He had no infrastructure for the sales team to succeed inside. CRM gaps, not a clearly defined offer, no scripts, no tracking, no follow-up sequence. We fixed that first. Every hire after that performed on his own because the systems were so solid, they were rock solid, that they never had any sort of doubts when they were performing in the company on the higher level. Number two, we managed performance daily, not monthly. Daily huddles, daily KPI reports, daily feedback, daily trainings. Most coaches will check once a week with their sales team and then wonder how come the performance is drifting. Accountability starts when it's consistent, not when it happens once a month. And number three, we never let Bashi touch the front end. He was free to create content, he was free to work on the delivery side of things, and he was able to run the business from eagle-eye vision rather than being inside of it, because that's where growth starts. Every single system, hire, follow-up, booking, closing was handled by the team and the rock-solid infrastructure. That operational leverage is what allowed 80K months to be the floor, not the ceiling. Now, if you're a coach hitting 20K, 50K, even 100K months, even 200K months, and you feel like the ceiling that you've been hitting isn't a you problem, you're probably right about that. It's a systems problem. You don't have the right infrastructure set up to scale the business efficiently. You don't need a new offer. You don't need to post more on Instagram, or you don't need to pour more money into paid ads, because you just need a machine right now that can convert the existing attention that you already have. And then once you have a rock solid foundation, that's when increasing the ad spend or increasing organic posting is going to act as a lever to print money both on the front end and on the back end. So that's pretty much the entire breakdown from A to Z. I mean, we could have gone deeper into onboarding and sales assets and infrastructure, but then this video would have been too long for you to watch. Everything I've shown you though, if you go and implement it, there's no reason why your business won't scale. It's probably a few days or a few weeks of work if you're good with this hiring and managing an infrastructure build. So if you've got the time, just do it. Or if you want me to personally look at your sales and operations setup and tell you exactly where the revenue is leaking, there's a link in the description where you can apply to work with us and see if you qualify. We'll go through your current setup, find the bottlenecks, and show you what a proper system would look like for your specific situation. And if it's a good fit, we'll handle everything: the systems, the management, the hiring, all of it. So you can actually start to see the results that your business is actually capable of. Links in the description, go check it out. Appreciate you watching. Hope you got some value in this video, and see you in the next one. Peace out.